Hey guys, it's me again. I'm going to try and film my first ever tutorial video, so we'll see how I go. This is a tutorial on how to make the expandable pockets that you may have seen me using in previous projects. So super easy to make but super usable as well. Like you can fit, sorry about the background noise, you can fit a lot into these pockets. And they're really easy to make, so I'm going to try and show you how to make one. And yeah, so I like to make them out of card just because it's nice and strong, and then I can decorate it up later, but you could definitely make it out of any paper that you want. You could make it straight out of decorative pattern paper if you wanted to. Doesn't really matter. So I've got some card here to start making one. So first of all, I just want to say I don't usually measure things out. I actually kind of just size it according to a project. So if I want to make a pocket for this particular journal, I would literally just get a sheet of card and like hold it up to the journal and mark it off with a pencil like what size I want it to be. So let's just, for example, if I was making one for this journal, I would probably, first thing I would do is fold my card in half. Probably a bit messily, and then I would literally just grab a pencil and mark it around how big I want it to be, so if I want it to fit, and then I'll just trim it down. And this will be the main part of your pocket. So then at this point, obviously it's overhanging, so I need to decide if I want it to have a flap like this one, or you could definitely make it without a flap so that it's just like a side open pocket. And I'll make this one with a flap just to show you for the sake of it. So all I'm going to do that is mark on this side just where my journal ends, so where I want a pocket to end, and I'm only going to cut one side of it. So just cut that down, and then I'll just fold this piece over to make the flap. Of course you can use your whatsy-macaulay, your scorer to get it to be perfect, but I just like to eyeball things usually. And then if you wanted, you could do something decorative with this pocket. If you wanted it to be, you could punch a pattern into it, or you could just cut the corners of it. I'll just round them for the sake of this video, just make it look a little bit nicer when it's finished. Sorry about the background noise if you can hear my son playing. So that will be the little flap, and then as you can see, it's already starting to take shape. All you have to do now is you need a little bit more card, so I've just got the scrap from the cutoff, and I'm just going to measure it to the same size of my actual pocket. So, and I'm just going to cut that. And you want two pieces that are the same width of your envelope, like this. And then all you do with them is fold them in half. And then fold them, turn it around and fold these bits up. So, just like this. And that will give you like this little M shape. And this is going to be the piece, like you're going to stick these pieces on here so that's where they can open up, and that's actually what makes it expand. So 2 of those, and the longer this piece is, the more open your pocket will be able to get. So the bigger this piece is, yeah, the bigger the piece is, the bigger your envelope will be able to open. So 2 of those. The same way. I don't even have a bone folder. I just use my scissors to make it fold nicely, so you can definitely use a bone folder to do this. But I just use my scissors. And then now you're going to stick these on to the end. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can stick it on the inside of the envelope like this. Actually looks like I might need to trim mine down a little bit, but you can stick them to the inside like that, or I actually prefer to stick them over like that, and I like to do it that way because afterwards I decorate my envelope, and then this is covered, like this bit here is covered, the seams where I attached it, and then on the inside, even though you don't really see it that often, it just looks a lot neater on the inside because you can't see where this piece is stuck, if that makes sense. Also, if you're making a bigger envelope, like the one I used in the Pirate guest book, I had to use a full 12 by 12 sheet of card folded in half to get the right size for the actual envelope, this piece. And because I wanted it to have this flap, I actually had to attach a separate piece of card onto the back here to have that flap, because I didn't have enough length of the card to have it like this way. Sorry, I'm not very clear, but because I had to attach it separately, there was the line of where it was attached. So when I added these bits afterward, and I added them over the top, like this way, hop on there, it covered over, sorry, that's my son, it covered over where that flap was attached, if that made sense. And then when I decorated it with like another bit of pattern paper, so this extra flap was covered, and then it just made the ends look neat, because you couldn't see that I had attached an extra piece. So I hope that makes sense. But if you do make it in a bigger size, yeah, I would attach it this way, so that, just so that it looks neater, but it really doesn't affect the way it's used. It doesn't affect how much it opens or anything like that. So I'm actually going to trim this down slightly, even though it's the same size. I'm just going to trim it so that it doesn't hang out at all. And I'm just going to stick it on with some wet glue. So just a little bit. Hopefully I'm in frame, so you can use whatever adhesive that you want to use for this, and I'm just going to stick it on. On like that, and then stick it on like this. Again, I'm making it pretty messily just for the sake of video, just to show you how to do it, but you can definitely do it a lot neater and a lot more carefully. But once you kind of have this, these little folded bits worked out on how they work, you can really adapt it in any way, like to make other kinds of pockets. So I'll show you another one that I've made that's slightly different, just using the same method in a second. I'm just using my finger. But yeah, obviously I would do it a lot better if I was using this if I was actually going to use it in something. I would use it a lot neater and make sure it's stuck down properly. But you can see now you have your expandable pocket, and on the inside there's no like seams where I've attached these pieces, so it looks nice and neat on the inside. Opens up quite wide, and once it's decorated, if I went ahead and put some decorative paper over it, you wouldn't be able to see any of those seams. I actually missed a step actually. Before you glue these down, you would want to cut it here and here if you're going to decorate it, because then when you stick a piece of paper over the top, it'll be better if I had a different colour. Let's see, what do I have? Here's a scrap paper. So if you were decorating it, then it would be cut and you wouldn't be able to see this seam here, if that makes sense. And another one I've done with the same method, so I've made a littler pocket the same way, if you can see it there, and I made the pocket and then I stuck it to a piece of card, so it's expandable but it's just different. So that's kind of one of the ways you could easily adapt it. So just by knowing how to do this part, there's plenty of different ways you could put an envelope together. So I'm sorry if that tutorial was all over the place. As I said, that's the first one I filmed and I didn't really plan it out. I kind of just, yeah, went as I went. But that's how you make an expandable pocket. Hopefully this helps someone. Oh, one more thing. If you are actually going to bind this into a journal, this was something, quite an important part to include. If you're going to bind it into a journal and you're going to bind it into the middle of a signature, you need to leave the envelope open. So you would only stick these expandable parts onto one side so that it still opens up. So I can probably just even pick this off to show you what I'm saying. Just cut it. The glue started to dry, but I'm not using this pocket. I'm only using it for the sake of the video, so I just cut it to show you what I'm trying to say. Okay, so there's your little M pieces, little M's. So you would stick them onto one side, or you could stick them on after you've bound it, but then this would go into the middle of your signature. Your stitching would be on the inside. That's if you're stitching it this way anyway. And then once it's tied up, that's when you would stick it on. So it seems pretty obvious, but I thought I should mention that just in case you go and make some, stick them all together and then realise that you can't actually bind it into your book. So that's how you would bind it into the middle of the signature. Just leave it open till it's in, just as though it was like an open page. So I think that turned out a lot longer than it needed to be, but I hope it helped, and thanks for watching.